But Bounty Hunter,
Okay.
I could not guess that hero choice in a million years. That's very, very different, and I hope we get to see the reason why. And there's the Brood.
Whoa.
Okay. We got
Well,
problems.
it wasn't quite the team we were sort of alluding to initially with that Brood pick, but it is going to be Radix picking it up, and now ETI. I don't know about this one. It seems like DogChamp uh, have some issues here. Was that a correct pick? Stonebank has the bounty, but Tomler picked the IO. So if
Yeah.
that is the case, he is supposed to be standing in for Kits. That would be a mid IO in this scenario.
Well, and we'll see. I feel like it's going to get a little bit wonky here. It's the one thing that every high MMR player complains about is the bounty carry players. So I could 100% see Stonebank taking up this bounty hunter, but if you are paying attention, you're watching Yuar stream, you're watching Whisper stream, there's one thing they hate. It's somebody stealing their role and playing bounty hunter, and that's might what have just happened right now. So we'll have to see. I hope that there's going to be a little bit of hope here for DogChamp. And hey, Stonebank, he's done weirder things, and I think that's one thing that you can say for him. He's a very unique carry player. So going for these types of avenues is definitely kind of in place for him. But now it's just a matter of whether or not you're solid enough versus the cut, who are looking to kill you and brood you and just do all these annoying, miserable things to you.
Yeah, it's interesting, but at the end of the day, going up against the Brood on the other side is interesting enough to actually, take a game. That's kind of the whole point of the affair here. So, game one between the Cut and Team DogChamp is gonna be getting underway here in just a little while longer. Draft's done, and we shall see. Um, Not 100% sure if the voting is still open there, chat, but if it is, again, as a reminder, exclamation mark T for the Cut, exclamation mark D for DogChamp. Maybe opinions change after seeing the actual lineups that these teams are going to be working with.
Yeah, and who knows? It's an interesting draft. It's a fun draft, but hey, something else to be excited for, though. This is not a best of two. These are best of threes.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are playing each other. You're not just going to get two games and you get to say goodbye here. You actually have to close out the series, and for a team, I think, like DogChamp, maybe that gives them a little bit more hope, where they kind of like to lose games every once in a while, but losing a series, that stings a little bit more. I think that's where you get a little bit more of that strategist mentality inside of you as well, where, well, we know what they did in game one. Now we have something to build off of. Maybe we could do something different in game two, throw them a curveball. It's where there's so many options now open up to you, and you can actually play your opponents in this format.
Yeah, you get that sort of extended extra game where the strategy becomes more important. And well, ET, you and I have seen our fair share of two-game series. It's fun, but not always in the same way, right? With the teams, the first game's whatever, the second game almost feels completely separate from what we saw in the first one. So, not going to be the case here. As you said, best of threes, and just to let everybody know, that's going to be best of threes the whole way through. Every matchup here on the main stage, and I believe every matchup in the playoffs too, until the grand final, will also be best of three. So, well, always exciting to get that full format under our belts here, as I do believe we are just about ready to get underway here. Sort of waiting on, waiting on word at this point, but we are going to be hopping into game one in just a little bit. So while we wait, do want to ask you, ET, in this instance, what, I guess, laning matchup here between the two squads are you going to have your eye on most sort of immediately and most importantly in this game?
It's got to be the bounty versus the brood, right? We gotta see these guys just go at each other's throats. I mean, not to mention, I feel like eventually that becomes quite a bad lane for the bounty hunter. It's one of the
Yeah.
situations where we don't see a lot of brood nowadays. Honestly, the hero is not so great, but in a game as wide open as this, not to mention, I think it's one of Rajik's favorite heroes, so give it to him, right? Might as well. He's got a really easy lane. Once he gets level 6, then he forces the bounty to leave. Honestly, that would be the one I'd look out for the most, but at the same time, We also have Shaggy in this lobby, and that's the guy who goes for the first bloods. He tries to be a little CC&C, you know, he'd probably hate if he knew that I would call him that, but he is looking to try and go for those solo kills, those early kills. He likes to play the regen game. He likes to hit you a lot and then nuke for his CS because he knows that maybe there's an instance where you're not ready, where you're not prepared, especially if you're a stand-in here for DogChamp. I feel like that's where Shaggy absolutely tries to outskill his opponents.
Mm-hmm. Certainly something that he is capable of from what we have seen in the past from him. So I believe we're getting a little bit of an update. There's going to be a slightly longer wait here before the game gets started as one of the players, I think one of the players is on a bathroom break here. So not going to call him out as much as it just sort of burns in my soul to do so, but we won't be that cruel. But that is why you're still seeing our faces on your screen instead of, you know, Dota that you probably want to watch. But yeah, we should be hopefully getting ready to go once that player has returned. So we'll see how this game plays out. For now, though, do you want to take a look down at the bottom of your screen there? Might as well talk about the sponsor a little bit. Thunderpick providing us with those odds. 1.98 for the cut, 1.72 for DogChamp. Now, I am not sort of wired into the think tank of Thunderpick, but I do want to sort of just throw out there a question of whether or not these odds were put out before or after the stand-in situation is being put together here, because I don't know, 2 new players, I feel like that does kind of change the odds a little bit. So I don't know if this is the before or the after, but certainly makes things interesting betting wise.
And that's what we'll see game 2. If they just plummet and they're just not there anymore because they're upset about what their team was actually able to perform here. But here we are. We're in game. Taking a look at Shaggy walking down. He's very scary. And, well, now we get to see they walked in some pretty interesting heroes on the DogChamp side. No idea what roles are. B9's got pretty typical items, but at the same time, anything gives at this point. For a team with that many stand-ins, anything can go. Unfortunately, though, they are playing versus a Brood. They're playing versus a Jubei Marcy. There's some stables on the cut side.
Well, I will tell you one thing, folks. Well, I'll get to hard-hitting play-by-play in a moment, but I just want to say before we go, that skin on Radix in particular, that skin triggers my arachnophobia, man. That creeps me out. I don't like it. Every other Brood skin is fine. That one, I'm not okay with. Radix, I don't like you right now. But
I mean,
he is going to be on
worse.
the Brood in a position.
The Spiderlings are even worse. They're just little mini versions of that model. It's great.
Why would you say that to me, man?
No, it's great. It's really fun. It's it's the reason everybody looks and goes for that skin. But, well, see if the skirmish breaks out here.
Yeah, B-God getting a little bit too close. I'm not sure he saw Stonebank hiding behind the tree there, so this could get a little dicey. He's trying to dance around the tree ends, and I think he's going to be okay, but, well, it's a little bit more damage there than I think he would have liked, and he wasn't able to get the bounty either. Stonebank just locks that down, 2-for-2 exchange, and
look at that.
Zeus has to burn through 1 or 2.
There's a Wisp in the mid lane.
Yes, indeed. ET, how in the world does this particular laning stage go? Io versus Puck mid.
Oh, Shaggy's gonna have a field day. I'm pretty sure he has at least 10 damage on the Wisp. Maybe a worse attack animation, but he can actually nuke for those creeps. That's where Tomler, he's got to have a really good lane. He's got to do something about that, otherwise he will just start to fall behind, and then it's not going to look good. But that's the name of the game. Everything's not going to look too good for the cut if they start losing their lanes here. But at the same time, if they can kind of push themselves through, then everything's going to be A-okay.
Meanwhile, keeping the camera up top here a little bit, that lane matchup that you wanted to see, Brood versus Bounty. So far, though, Stonebank really isn't overly involved. His job is to find farm. It's up to B9 to be sort of the one in the middle of that lane trying to create that space. So he's doing a pretty damn good job of it so far. While mid, High Shaggy got pressured up a little bit. Pressure really all across the map. High Shaggy, low mid. B-God dangerously close to getting taken down there in the top lane. So DogChamp came ready with the early aggression.
Yeah, and that's what they have to do, because right now, the cut, they are weak. They need their level 6s. They need a little bit of magic damage right now. It's where their lineup, once they have those levels, is very potent. But until then, DogChamp have some really high physical damage. They've got fantastic base stats, lots of armor to work with, and that's why specifically this top lane is kind of going pretty bad for them right now. Even though the wave's getting pushed, you're playing versus a Stone Bank with 7 armor, you're playing versus a B9 with a Blightstone, and at the same time, bottom, you're getting just beat up by a Shaman who's just clicking you over and over and over. It's where DogChamp, they love that lane. That's what they like playing for, and that's what they're doing.
Early aggression, early lead, and honestly, even if the early lead isn't a massive one, the fact that you're slowing down some of these heroes on the cut is, speaking to which, Radix, playing a little bit dangerously there. He's able to drop down a web and fall back, but this is not the way that they saw this lane going. 2 heroes huddled around a tier 1 tower with very little regen remaining at this point.
Yeah, and that's where we do have to kind of wait here, but oh my goodness. Every single time, Tomlin, he just overcharges and he just A-clicks. And somehow the wave is always going into Shaggy. At the same time, he's got really good CS, but I think Shaggy's... Okay, he's got tangos, but that might be a back to the base trip.
Yeah, it is looking like he's going to make the long walk of shame there. So the farm was great, but he does have to step away, and this is going to be the interesting thing here as well for DogChamp. And one of the things we talk about so much with that puck in the middle lane, once he hits 6, there's no guarantee that he goes ganking, but he has the tools in the kit. If Tomler can continue maybe applying a little bit of pressure, playing up a little bit more often, then they're going to know earlier and earlier whether that puck is making a move. And speaking of making a move, Hoof, not a great spot there. Jubei comes in, gets the dispose for the toss back, and there is your first blood, followed immediately by second as Ragic strikes up top, B9 gets taken down.
Yeah, and, well, this is what you're scared of. 3 minutes were good. Your base heroes were pretty good, but you hit level 3 across the board, and then suddenly everything just falls apart for you. And still, it's just huge damage. Yep. It's where, unfortunately, now you've got 2 points up in the Shikuchi. You've got a lot of damage to play with, and Jubei is on the arguably best hero in the game. So whenever he finds his opening, he takes it.
Well, bit of a reset here for DogChamp after sort of copping those first 2 deaths, but well, they're still farming up pretty well. Nobody's going to catch up to Shaggy immediately here. 24 and 5 on that puck, but right behind him, all 3 cores for DogChamp. So early deaths are a setback. Yes, it's some momentum being given over to your opponents, but if they can continue to farm at this rate, they should be able to bounce back.
Oh, ain't that pretty. Look at that. Seeing the wisp balls as well with this view, it's a very pretty thing, but man, oh man. I'll be honest, I don't even know Tomler. He's probably even gotten way more pubs on this hero as well, knowing him. Not every IO player is built like this. He's got to be a specialist, you could say, but that's where Shaggy, he's definitely got the more competitive experience, but that's where Shaggy, he's doing a good job. He might not be necessarily shutting down the Wisp, but if you can't shut down a hero as that puck, you try to double him over with the small camp farm, so he's at least getting a lot of last hits.
Back down bot, look at Jubei. Starting to get a little aggressive there with the Marcy, doing some damage, but this is one of the downsides of the Weaver in the early stages. Your damage comes in definitive and unavoidable burst. You can't just sort of go at the drop of a hat and do whatever you want as host Stone Bank. Oh man, that is nerve-wracking there as they do manage to get him away. And well, we'll get to a message here from our sponsor in just a second, as there might be a fight under this tower. We'll see if B-God gets out. Looks like he's not going to make it, so they do find the kill. Radix, though, still in here. I'm not sure why. There wasn't really a kill I thought he could finish off, but he does end up paying ET, and, well, there's 2 kills on the board for DogChamp. Now we'll get to that message from our sponsor, Thunderpick. If you're topping off your balance on Thunderpick, don't forget to use promo code BITCOIN for 100% on your deposit up to 500 euros. So a little bit of a delayed shout out there, but thank you, Thunderpick. And with that, the score is tied up at 2-2.
Yeah, and, well,
maybe not. Hold on.
Is he going to get zapped? That's where you're always wondering if the Zeus is in the trees, but yeah, it's something for them to play around, but at the same time, now your puck is level 6. If you're the cut, you're still playing real defensively, and at the same time, you give the lane over to Radix. He's about to hit his level 6. At least Stonebank able to pick up his Ring of Health, which is going to be a little bit more fun, but...
This is still very risky.
Ooh.
Stonebank dropping low, B9 trying his best, but Radix just walks past him with that phased movement, but it's not quite enough. Once again, Stonebank gets away, so... Well, on the one hand, they're not killing him every time they make that play, but on the other, I mean, that's your carry in the top lane, constantly running low on HP.
Yeah, at the very least, whiff on the mid lane. Wasn't able to get a kill with that Dream Coil. It's something that now... Oh, and Tomler,
really
wait a second.
Again?
Is Shaggy just...
There's the spirits. Oh, Shaggy. That's... You can't try that. You're going to get punished so heavily as he does get taken down. At least the cut, though, we're able to get a return kill over on the other side of the map as they do strike again at Stonebank. And, I mean, ET, the persistence pays off. They've been missing once or twice, but they do get him again there.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate because this top lane, it would have been that much more stable if they were just able to keep their early, really just trade leads going, but... It's where the levels are just too strong at this point. Your Brood's about to be level 6. Your bottom lane is also not really excelling too much here. And you have a farming mid laner. So, DogChamp, they really need to keep their job going here as I think Rajix needs one more. Nice.
TP comes in, but it's not in time. Okay. Janata hit does the work, and Stonebank gets a little bit of revenge there, finally taking the spider down. In the meantime, back mid, what's going on here, Shaggy? He's going to drop down the Dream Coil. Tomler dropped low. Fairy fires through one of those attacks, and he's actually going to live. The puck backs away instead. Shaggy, though, does he want back in? Yes, he does, but Tomler's able to jump away. Bottles the regen. He'll pop it now, and Jubei, I don't know if you want to be here anymore. That is a healed up Io. He is going to sort of call it quits and back off, and that's just... That's brutal. That's twice now Shaggy's missed on that kill.
And that's like just the worst possible situation. You barely kill your mid laner and then gets a regen rune and then heals up the NP as well. That's just, that's a cry right there for sure. But that's where, unfortunately, for DogChamp though, our boy here is going to get taken down. Shaman, not so strong. And all of this is something that they actually instigated, but unfortunately that far up in the lane, no way to really navigate out, and this bot lane is still becoming a very big struggle. Good farm on Lukey, but not as good as Scourge's.
Yeah, that's always going to be the downside, right? But we'll have to wait and see if that Night Stalker can turn that early farm into some maybe big item to sort of keep that aggression going. In the meantime, speaking of sort of big items here, the Dom Helm completed up on Tomler. So, well... I mean, this is the way that the core IO was played in ages past, let's say, right? You got that Dom Helm, you attach yourself to a creep, and you just went gallivanting around the map, sort of doing as you pleased. So we'll see if he can find the time and space to farm. His teammates, though, looking to create that space as they have hit up Radix here in the top lane. Tomler's actually just going to relocate in by himself, looking for the extra damage, and, well, they find the kill. It comes at a cost, though. B9 gets taken down, but honestly, ET, I mean, you take that trade every time.
No, definitely, and that's where it's very typical of DogChamp, but they do this NP IO strat every once in a while. You do have that global presence. You can bring 4 heroes to anywhere on the map instantly. You just better be getting your kills and then hoping you're not losing anything in return, but that's where Tomler will have to see if he continues to make those types of rotations, because unfortunately, it is daytime, and even though we have that Dark Ascension, it's something that Lukey is not going to want to spend without getting something for it. Otherwise, you do see that Night Stalker really start to fall behind here, and a lot of time and space given over to the opponents. At the same time, though, Shaggy getting this Arcane Rune, almost having his Witchblade, he's going to have enough damage to kill these supports in just a few minutes here. So we'll have to see how he makes his rotations.
I mean, while taking a look on the top lane for a moment there as Radix was trying to push it out. Actually, we'll get to that point in a second because there's a bit of a fight breaking out mid. Stonebank a little bit too far forward considering Hoof was his only backup, and now Hoof's going to get punished. He goes for the Hex, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. No, Shaggy jumps past him. He's going to get the double kill. Now, though, can he get himself away? Illusory Orb's coming back up. He's going to try to get himself out. B9 attempted to follow, but still firing from the low ground there in the river, so they will not secure that kill, and, well, 2 go in the way of the cut due to maybe a little bit of an overextension from DogChamp.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an overextension, not to mention just Shaggy playing really well with that Arcane rune. If he doesn't have that rune, he can't go for that aggressive play on the Shaman. He just doesn't have the cooldowns. He would have gotten taken out by Tomler, but just knowing his limits, it's something that Shaggy does very well. But that's where I do want to see what's going to be the interaction between this IO, especially post-Ags versus the Broodmother, because Rajix is farming. He's fine. The carry is not taking over the Night Stalker's lane as well because there's no space around on the map. So how do you split the map for DogChamp now? Let's look at it. We're walking around.
Come on, Product. You can't do that to me, guys. That's... oh, that is unsettling.
They help with flies.
Like it.
They're a key part of the ecosystem. They're important.
Just need them to do it in a place where I never have to see it happen. But speaking of Rajix, yeah, the question now that I wanted to ask you, he's taken that all-important Tier 1 tower top. Where do you want to see Rajix rotate? Should he just dominate that north half of the map, or should he do as he's doing here and start making those rotations elsewhere?
Look at the response.
Oh, Jubei. Well, knocked back immediately. They'll take him down. They protect the tower. Serpent wards are no longer a factor here as this fight will begin to shift. But Luki, he wants to keep going. That's very risky, though. And yeah, it's a risk that won't pay off. They turn immediately. They take him down. Hoof now a little overextended as well. And ET, it seems like DogChamp maybe weren't all on the same page. Defense of the tower, fantastic. But then half the squad goes forward. The other half kind of lags behind, and they get got.
Yeah, really clean, really easy stuff. And it really comes from Luki just a little bit too far forward, and then Shaggy realizing this is an overextension, this is a mistake, I'm gonna punish it, you cannot do this. And now we've got 2 minutes where your Night Stalker is just going to very quietly and peacefully farm a lane, while your Weaver is on the other side of the map, getting absolute free farm, not showing up to fights, and that will be the big concern here. Whether or not Scourge is actually able to translate his farm into anything too scary, that'll be the next question, but until then, I feel like the Cut are very pleased with how this early game has gone.
Shaggy's on the hunt. Look at him, looking for B9 up top. Not quite willing to dive at Tier 2, though, for that position 5 support kill, which, yeah, understandable. We just saw momentum shift off of an overextension. Shaggy being careful that he doesn't sort of immediately hand that momentum back.
Yeah, and well, at least they're still holding on to their mid tower, and I feel like that's where Tomler is still right at home. If he ever loses his mid tower, and it definitely has eaten a little bit of damage, then we've got big problems, because we start running out of map, we start realizing that we do have a Pos 5 Natures, and well, we might not have a Pos 5 Natures very much longer here. Yeah.
Didn't want to dive to Tier 2 before, but this time he's got Scourge with him, and, well, that makes everything feel a little bit more comfortable. So, they find the kill. They don't stick around to get extra damage onto that Tier 2, though, mostly because their creep wave was kind of already melting away, but ET, this feels like it's going to be pretty important for them. They're finding a few more picks than their opponents at this point with a 10-7 scoreline, but it's really going to be map control that could maybe push the Cut into a more advantageous position now.
Yeah, and, well, we'll have to see. We are seeing maybe a little bit of a translation of the map here. They haven't taken this tower yet, even though they have the Natures. I think finally they'll get that underway, but the shining light for DogChamp right now is Stonebank. With this Battle Fury, once he has that BKB, we already talked about it in draft, BKB is a killer versus the Cut. It's where suddenly the lineup really doesn't do that much, and you're going to have to rely on the Weaver to really kind of shore up your lack of damage, but that's also where we gotta see him kind of hit anyone at this stage of the game, because the split push is always a threat. They just got the mid tower, now they're looking up at top, and that's so much damage on your Tier 2. The Glyph did not really defend anything.
Luki and Hoof sort of dancing around their Tier 2 tower. Meanwhile, mid, the puck did TP in, and did so kind of close to the IO there, but wasn't actually looking for an engagement, which honestly seems like the right call for the Cut, considering they were a little bit spread out, but now they're starting to come back together. Scourge and Rajix pushing on to Luki. High Shaggy, meanwhile, makes the move onto Tomler mid, will be able to find that kill. And they can pick up 2 here as Luki, well, congrats, you can fly, but he still can't outrun any of those opponents. And that is a nice little swing of momentum here as the Cut pick up 2, and the question at this point, ET, is can they do anything off the back of this, especially with the tracks now coming out from Stonebank? They're not as sneaky as they would like to be.
And we'll see. Does Shaggy let himself get hexed here?
Oh,
that's silence. The Waning Rift. It still might be a punish, though. He needs to actually hit him through. Okay, they should have him.
Got it.
Ooh.
Not a clean kill, but it will be a kill as Jubei, okay, jumps in, sets up for B-God. They'll get that kill. The problem is, yeah, Jubei can't make a clean escape, and considering you lose the Marcy and you had already lost the puck previously, yeah, that's not going to be worthwhile. 2-for-1 trade, very much in DogChamp's favor from the net worth and experience.
Yeah, and well, at the end of the day, you did lose Tomler top all the way back when, but it's something, right? And that is the engine. If you can slow down this puck, that's where the damage. He needs to rely on his teammates a little bit more. Of course, there's a Zeus that he has to rely on, so you can feel pretty confident about that, but that's where we still have not heard a peep out of the Weaver. And look at that, immediately into the Roche pit with a whole bunch of spiders. And unless they scout this out, it is nighttime right now, but they have to make a rotation. I don't know if they will. They have so much global presence, but no target to hit.
They do have their scan, so if they maybe get suspicious of seeing heroes off map, they could go for it, but as our observer shows us, no vision anywhere even remotely close to that area, so they didn't see it. Roche, very easily into the hands of the cut. Scourge has the Aegis, and, well, you were saying before, ET, we haven't heard a peep from him. That may change. He has the option to maybe get a little bit more involved with those 2 lives, or could very well be a farming Aegis, but he has that option open to him.
No, he definitely does, and, well, first Aegis, as we usually say, if you can get it this early, doesn't really matter all too much, but it's where you get the free shard, it's where you get a few more items with that second one, that suddenly you become a threat, but huge fight.
Scourge getting hit up, but there's Shaggy coming in for the reinforcements, drops down the silence, drops down the coil, they'll take Hoof down first, and over in the middle lane, Stonebank just getting handled. The 2 supports getting it done there, and this is turning into a disastrous fight for DogChamp. They've just got to try and sort of bail out with everyone who's left alive, which is currently Lukey and Tomler, who wasn't even in that engagement, but Lukey actually wants the kill instead, and okay. He's able to get a little bit of a drive-by there onto B-God. Radix, though, what's going on here? Running into Tomler, but that's not a normal IO, Radix. That is a core IO, and he does quite a bit more damage than the Broodmother was ready to deal with.
Yeah, and look, can Lukey find anything here? He's got a haste, but yeah, should be able to take his Shaggy out here, and has to be so careful, but oh boy, the turn.
Shaggy jumps away. They're going to try and track him down, though. There's going to be the sounds coming out with the Crippling Fear into the Void, into the right clicks, and they do finally get their man. High Shaggy taken down. Marcy was being chased after a little bit there across the river, but they're not going to go all the way in. They give up on that chase. The puck was obviously the more valuable kill, and, well, DogChamp, some signs of life, let's say, for them. Not quite back into it in the way that we maybe were hoping for, but they're not afraid to take these fights at this point, ET.
No, definitely not. And, well, you're seeing those big items getting built up, and even though you're still losing the puck, at the end of the day, does it really matter what Shaggy has? Because as long as he's getting a coil down, as long as the Weaver isn't dying, as long as you have all this magic damage to spill out onto your opponents, you're still going to win the fight. They didn't even lose the Aegis in that last engagement. Even though Stonebank is ridiculously farmed, he's right up there with Scourge. Can the Bounty Hunter stick onto anyone? It's kind of the age-old counter to the bounties. Just kite him. Just walk away from him. If he's not doing damage, he's got a big problem, and I don't even know if the build-up post-BKB is going to be for Stonebank, because this hero, do you get an AC? Do you go for the Ags? Do you try to be more team fight? It feels like Stonebank isn't necessarily able to fill the hole that his team has in the draft. I just hope that maybe with a whole bunch of net worth, he can kind of close that gap.
I do want to ask you now, though. It's looking like it might be go time for DogChamp. They got the BKB up on Stonebank. They got the blink on the Shadow Shaman. Unfortunately, this gank comes at a terrible time as Lukey gets taken down in the night, but they at least turn it into a trade-off there. Catching out Radix in the middle lane, and that sort of leads into the question I wanted to ask you, ET. With the BKB up, with the Blink Dagger, do they look to get more aggressive now?
Oh, definitely. It's time to go. It's time to go yesterday, and he's going to get his BKB force, but look at it, the physical damage. He's got to run now.
Trying to back away. Tomler's going to heal him, but there's going to be the Dream Coil coming in, and they're going to look to re-engage here on the side of the cut, but High Shaggy, dangerously low on HP. Hoof coming in with that Shackles, just locking him down forever. Shaggy goes down. Hoof has to die for it, but they'll take it. The problem is, yeah, Scourge was one to get both of those kills in there, and I don't believe they're going to punish him here either. They would love to just break the Aegis, and they do exactly that. Okay. Now, are they set up to kill him a second time? It looks like the answer is no. Instead, they go for the easier kill onto B-God, but with Scourge back up, they could look to turn this around. Radix is coming in to help out as well. Stonebank, though, getting healed up pretty quickly by Tomler, but maybe not quickly enough. Stonebank dangerously low, but now Lukey comes into the fight, picks off that Broodmother, And all the while, Tomler yanked his teammate out of the fire with the reload.
No, it was beautiful. It was perfect.
And as you can see on your screen, another word from our sponsor, Thunderpick. If you're topping up your balance on Thunderpick, don't forget to use the promo code that was on your screen, Bitcoin, and get yourself a 100% bonus on your deposit up to 500 euros. Thank you again to Thunderpick, as Jubei, not fun there. Dies on the steps of his own base. No protection from the Tier 2 or the Tier 3 for that matter.
Yeah, no, and with that fight, everything is back to DogChamp. That fight was dragged out so long, so much, really, in terms of resources was expended from the cut, and even though we should be in an awkward timing, DogChamp are positioned on this side of the map with no daytime or no nighttime, no Dark Ascension. You'll have his cooldown up in maybe a few moments here, but this is just pure confidence from them now. And now your BKB from Scourge is not looking like it's going to be enough. It feels like now the Weaver might need to actually take a seat back and farm, but now the damage is going to be the real issue. Have the cut gotten a little bit too far away? Do they not have enough with the core puck? Is that going to be the new problem? Because items like the mech, like that Ags on the Wisp, like the items that they're picking up next, they're just too durable for those long engagements.
Mm-hmm. Starting to get into that dangerous territory here for the cut as well. Mentioned it sort of leading into the draft. Only 3 net worth lead changes past the 25-minute mark across 16 games for them. And well, you look at that timer, ET, we're inching closer to that 25-minute mark, and the cut aren't the team with the net worth lead. So every trend can be broken, obviously, but well, it's a trend for a reason. The cut may want to look to do something here. They do exactly that with Shaggy pushing top. The problem is, DogChamp were more than ready to turn that one around. Shaggy picked off immediately, and now Jubei's on the run. Leg 9, TP's forward, drops down the Sprout. They trap him up. They'll finish him off. Thunder God's Wrath flies through for negligible damage.
Yeah, and Hoof is just owning.
Oh,
he
Rajix
just keeps on finding these cores, and well, they need to start meeting up with him, but they're going to catch him. They're going to Orchid him, and look at that. The Janata. This is 800 damage. Going to clean up the spiders, too. And, okay, that's 3 track kills, and your team is starting to snowball. So much gold now in DogChamp's hands. That is not what you want to see if you're the cut. You need a full reset. It's really just from the 1 or 2 times we've seen High Shaggy getting caught out, but, again, hoof, hoof, hoof. He just keeps on finding him.
I mean, it's incredible, right? The man walks in here as a stand-in and basically says, listen, I'm going to win you guys a game, just kind of by myself with those blink plays. He has been everywhere since he's picked up that item, and to be honest, you know what? Even before that, before the blink dagger, he played the lane so incredibly well additionally, so everything that DogChamp has needed, he has been, although in that circumstance, not on the right side of the map to save B9, so Scourge is still able to find some kills, I was going to say here and there, but he's actually sitting at 9-0-3, so the Weaver has been big. The problem is he big enough to really kind of carry the weight of the whole team, because he's the only one who seems to be doing too much right now, because Shaggy just keeps getting punished. The silence mid, they'll take him down. B-God's going to try to run, but it's a Zeus. He's not going anywhere. And that is starting to look a little bit rough, and Jubei may be in some trouble as well, or maybe not. He actually goes for the tossback. Luki's the one dropping, and Tomler got to pop the BKB, but the physical damage is pretty intense onto him. He's able to get away with Tether, but now here comes Stonebank and Hoof pushing in. They'll take Jubei out. Stonebank will lose his support, though, as Jubei falls. Or, excuse me, Hoof falls, my mistake, but can Stonebank finish the kill? He wants Rajix, he gets Rajix. The Janata is in, and it's a double kill for the bounty.
Yeah, what an incredibly awkward game to play, because Scourge, he just wants to sit there and A-click all these heroes, but they pop BKBs, they run around him. At least they're able to very quickly turn on the Luki, who is still a very low armor hero, but it's just the damage from those Wisp balls. It's just the spirits that just end up pulling them through these fights. And now, unfortunately, if you're the cut, the Broodmother has also started to completely fall off. And just, again, 3-4 track kills. It's just net worth. They're just printing money for DogChamp.
And you see the IO with the talent utilization there, the spirits, the cooldown reduction on the relocate. He knows at this point, you know, his ability to get out there consistently is really going to keep this team pushing forward. So too is Stonebank with the Deso as they're going to push in. There's Hoof with the blink into the Hex, and Shackle. B9 is also here. Didn't really need to be, but they find the pick again. And High Shaggy, this is just This is a terrible game for him. It's not even entirely his fault. The matchup's just really devolving at an alarming rate, but they need to try and do something to get back into it. In mid, it looks like they are going to find the play onto Luki. Jubei able to flip himself over there onto the Night Stalker and get a kill, but ET, all the kills in the world here have to be balanced out by High Shaggy not getting picked.
Yeah, and, well, maybe a little bit of an overstep from Luki. He's almost got his BKB. I think he has his BKB if he wanted to disassemble his Echo Saber, but the other cores are still just accelerating, and we'll have to see what the Roach respawn is, if it's kind, but oh, that's huge.
Oh. Stormbank very low in HP, but there's Hoof again in onto Scourge. If they could lock him down before he gets the ult, that's big. That might just be team fight winning. Hoof will sacrifice himself for it, but his job is done. The question is, well, can the rest of DogChamp actually now get away? Because they were looking like they were just going to clean sweep that fight. Rajix's appearance, though, makes them fall back, but even without any sort of follow-up to that first engagement, that's still your Shadow Shaman for the Weaver.
Yeah, and you get the good trades. That's, unfortunately, Scourge's, I think, first death, but it's so much time, and this is an opening that if you're the cut, you would have loved to just go into the pit, force the Dark Ascension, head back out. Even at the bottom lane, seeing the split push, so annoying from this Nature's. Look at the damage on the tier 3. It's not fun to play against. See if B guy's actually able to get that D ward, or if he even saw it with the Thunderbolt. But it's these openings now where we're going to get a one big, massive team fight around the pit, and you hope that you're the victor. Because if you're DogChamp with that Aegis, probably give it over to Tomler, then you have no threat of losing the IO anymore. If you're the cut, you need more time. You need to just take this away from your opponents. Don't give them any more. Got a Satanic queued up on the IO. I mean, this guy's trying to become a monster.
Meanwhile, for Shaggy, BKB finished off. Not a bad pickup, but at this point, we kind of said the same thing about Scourge, where it feels like it's a nice item pickup, but it doesn't feel as impactful now compared to if you had picked it up maybe 5 to 10 minutes ago, especially considering the amount of just physical damage that DogChamp have to work with here. So ET, I'll ask you, BKB on a couple of cores, but if you're the cut, you said they need to buy time. Do they just do that by ducking and avoiding any engagements?
Definitely. They have to kind of just buy their time, play on the sides, but this is another riskier strat. Look at what the Shaman can find here. He's got all the vision. There's Jubei gone.
Instantly gone. Shaggy pops the BKB, but again, that physical damage, it's just too much. He's taken down. B-God finding a return kill there with the Thunder God's Wrath. The problem is, that's not a kill that's going to allow them to turn the tables. In fact, Rajix is just on the run, desperately trying to get away, but with the flying movement, Luki chases after him. They get the kill, and now they're on to Scourge. Scourge has to pop the ult, getting himself away to relative safety, perhaps, but the BKB is wearing off. They still want him, but look at that play. B-God comes in, force staffs his teammate out, and between that and the Gleipnir root, they will get Scourge away, but now DogChamp have complete control of this pit, and ever so slightly unfortunate with those Serpent Wards. Don't think they're going to be able to help out much, but they don't need the Serpent Wards to finish off Roche at about a third HP.
Well, that's nice of B9. Oh!
Hold up. Relocate in, not going to catch, but that could have been nasty. It might still be nasty, because B-God's getting punished a little bit there, but there's that Gleipnir root again. Tomler. No, okay. Thought Jubei maybe had something up his sleeve, but he can't really cancel the pullback from the relocate.
It was close, though. If he was actually able to pull Tomler away from the Night Stalker, that could have been a sick play on the Luki, but at the same time, Stonebig finishes off the Roche, gets the Ag Shard. Now he can bash out of Invis. Stupid Ag Shard. So annoying to play against. But he's got a Satanic for himself. I mean, the damage is incredible, not to mention a lot of 25s actually getting picked up by a lot of these DogChamp heroes here. Now,
is this a good idea? Tomler, he's so damn tanky, though. I don't know if they're going to get the kill. The BKB comes out. Hoof locking Shaggy down with those shackles. Tomler, though, is dropping, but not fast enough. He's just too durable, and at this point, if you're the cut, do you continue to push forward? Yes, they do. They're going to try for this, but the reinforcements are starting to come in. Tomler, though, eventually will be finished off. But where is the rest of DogChamp? You see the Bounty Hunter and the Shadow Shaman coming up from the south through that jungle, but B9, he's got to buy more time, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. They pick him off cleanly. And the Bounty doesn't really have too many opportunities here to push back in, I don't think.
He should be backing away. If he finds a really nice track, then maybe we see him go for it, but at the same time, it's time to go. It's time to kind of reset. Don't think they want to give up anything else. I don't even feel as if Tomler should have gone down there. Just got a little bit greedy there. Didn't BKB to break the tether. It kind of just let himself get coiled and then ate way too many stuns, and that's a big reason why he went down, but Stonebank's going to eat all your spiners. Okay. Sure. The Exterminator.
Uh-oh. Free gold as B-God starts off the fight, but there's going to be the nice Orchid Silence coming in. B-God, though, may still be in some trouble. He's just going to look for the TP out. And that TP does have to be canceled, but he's still alive at least. But look at Luki pushing forward. Dark Ascension active. Dream Coil, though, going to lock him down for a moment, so he has to back away. But Shaggy, you don't have any backup. He goes in by himself. His teammates were trying to fall away, and they are so close to finishing him off. They need to be able to provide some protection as Scourge does come in trying to help, but it's not enough. Shaggy still gets taken down. Stonebank, though, a little bit low himself. They don't finish him. He'll start healing up with that Satanic as Radix. That is not a place you want to be. Just blown to hell by the Bounty Hunter. Jubei now taken down as well. Double kill for Stonebank. He wants the triple. They've got eyes on Scourge. They'll hit him with the Void. There's going to be the Sprout coming in, keeping him trapped in place. BKB active. Can Scourge fight his way through this? Not really looking like it right now, especially with Tomler coming back into the fight. He was, though, able to pop the ult, reset himself, trying to fall back. Will it be enough? He's silenced on the high ground, but the Force Staff again gets him to safety.
Yeah, B-God, he's been a savior with those forces, just able to get his teammate out so many times. Scourge even picking up his own Hurricane Pike for when we have that level 20 talent finished up by the Natures, but at the same time, the game is just spiraling. You don't have an offlaner anymore. The Broodmother isn't really capable until you have a little bit more farm or even levels. Your Puck is not going to feel potent enough with his Dream Coil. It's just being ignored. And even that fight got a little bit sketchy because they need to pass the Spider Legs over, but every single time this track goes down, the fights are just lasting too long. And Stonebank, he's got a Satanic.
Oh. Okay, Thomas going to heal him up. They don't want to use either the Satanic or honestly the Aegis right now. They just kind of pull him out and heal him up. So resources being spared. Now if you're the cut, I don't think you want to do this anymore, Shaggy. That's very bold of you, but he is going to be able to fall back. But if you're the cut, well, I don't know, ET, at this point, what's the item? What's the timing that they're playing for? Because as you mentioned, the Puck and the Broodmother's impact has really just fallen off of a cliff.
It's gotta be like a Hex or something. It's gotta be something to just allow him to kite out these team fights, because without that, Shaggy just barely finished up his Blink Dagger just a few moments ago, but he's level 20. He is not close to that 25 where his ulti is now a factor in the team fights yet again here. And okay, Hoof might get punched by Scourge. Definitely punched by Scourge, but the Trackle...
How can he take the fight on Stonebank? No, and he's actually just in danger of getting taken out entirely. He's going to pop the BKB. Does he have his ult? Yes, he does. So he's going to be able to reset a little bit, but they will continue to chase as long as they have vision, and with Luki flying around, they will have the vision. They push their way in. Shaggy trying to get involved, pushing forward, dropping the silence onto multiple heroes. They're going to remove it a little bit there with the Greaves, and this is turning into a disaster. Scourge taken down. That's going to force the Puck to retreat, and High Shaggy will at least get away, but the cut just can't seem to stop the bleeding right now.
No, and, well, pushing in. They've got Spiders trying to get lanes in, but they're not even successfully getting out onto the map anymore. And now they got their play, they got their smoke, their free Dark Ascension, because in 30 seconds, it's going to be nighttime. It's going to be time to go again with your Night Stalker yet again. And your high ground, Aegis will get reclaimed at the very least, but it's time to push. There's a Deso. There's a lot of damage to play with. Tomler also just finished up a pretty big item, I think. It's just not ideal. And Jubei, toss back, but running.
Yeah, not much to toss him back into at this point, unfortunately, which makes the Marcy, well, not the most useful of heroes right now. In the meantime, B9 doing Nature's Prophet things, being as annoying as possible, getting a little bit of a secondary push going bot, so just spreading the defenders of the cut out a little bit, forcing them to keep their eyes and maybe their personnel in two separate lanes. And if they go too far, there's Luki pushing in. Hoof is there to start things off with that silence onto Shaggy. Can they finish him off in time? Yes, they can. Puck dead, buyback available. Will they... Honestly, will they use it right now? If they want to try and defend, I think they kind of have to. Jubei's going to use his buyback first. They did get Luki very close to the fountain there. The laser is coming through, but Luki's just getting healed up. Tomler just keeping his teammate alive, says, you don't die until I say you can die. And now the buyback is going to get forced out, but at this point it might be a little too late, ET. Puck immediately having to fall back, and while all of this is going down, 2 lanes of racks are just getting cleared through easily.
Yeah, and, well, even though you bought back, can you really do anything? This is one of the changes where BKB being a 90-second cooldown, maybe they have a slightly wider opportunity, but Stonebank, He's fine. He could just walk to a camp, Satanic up if this looks really sketchy. Maybe even give away your Lukey here. But, oh, Shaggy goes down. That's going to be a dieback. You don't want to lose the puck.
Back into the fight. And they've got him. Shaggy with the dieback. Lukey should fall there. Yeah, the Spawn Spiderling's nuke damage will be enough to get him, but at this point, the Cutter really just running on fumes. Scourge dropped low, able to pop that ult though, so he's back into the fight. He'll activate the BKB. He actually gets a nice bit of damage in onto Hook. B9 dropped low as well. Stonebank's going to fall too, and Tomler all of a sudden's by himself. He'll look to TP home. They are going to... Oh, they're not. My bad. I called it too soon. I thought they had the damage, but Tomler gets away, so they won't complete the full 5-man YPT, but they get 4, and you take a look there. The teamfight recap, they get more gold. The problem is so much given away. 2 buybacks, 2 lanes of racks, so feels like a good play, but maybe a little too late.
Yeah, and trying everything there. And I mean, look at the Zeus. Look at the damage. Zeus is ridiculous. That's crazy.
Get a bit of a replay on this one. We see that play from Shaggy earlier in the game, just trying desperately to get away. And I mean, honestly, we get that replay in particular. You could have put up one of 5 or 6 replays of Shaggy sort of getting caught like that, because he just hasn't had the maneuverability or the durability to this point to get away.
It's not fun. It's not great. At the very least, they're pushing onto the high ground now. This is going to be at least the Glyph Force down, maybe a little bit more damage, but I feel like you gotta be afraid of the Shaman. You cannot just let him get away with whatever he wants. Fortunately for them, though, with the way that the IO has itemized, he needs the bounty to actually do damage. He needs the Night Stalker. It's where he needs the attack speed of his tether target to actually use that 25 talent. Without it, he doesn't really do the DPS on his own, but okay, here we go. BKB on the Shaman.
4 steps though, got the Weaver away for now, but here comes Lukey pushing in, trying to drop the silence. BKB though was still active, so Scourge trying to hold his ground, but he's gonna get bashed up and he's taken down! He needed the ult, but the bashes were huge. Lukey shuts it down with the Skull Basher. Can he get one onto Radix as well? Hell yes he can, as he's gonna cancel that TP, and the cut get ruined by the RNG on that one. Without the bashes, maybe the ult goes off, maybe Radix TP's away, but now your defenses are just left in shambles. And they don't have really any buybacks to work with here either. The Weaver's short 1,000 gold, so... Okay, there's one buyback coming in from Radix, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to hold the line here.
Yeah, and they have 2 lanes in. Right now, the Broodmother is desperately trying to get out bottom, but I feel like without the Glyph not coming up for like another minute, unless Roche respawns, that would give DogChamp something else to do. But I feel like right now, they're just going to take the entire map. They're going to very slowly do whatever they want. Abyssal Blade almost completed on Stonebank. Your IO is pretty much at critical mass right now. Could probably see another Abyssal being built up by the Night Stalker. And then unfortunately for Scourge, there's no way you get a Lincoln Sphere in this game and buyback and any more items. It feels like the Weaver is out of time.
Yeah, he is out of time, and by extension, the cut perhaps running out of time here. Coming up on 40 minutes, but DogChamp want to end it right now. Pushing their way onto the tier 3 top. They burn through it quickly. They're going to melt their way through the racks as well, so the Megas will be in their hands, and if you're the cut, it's down to one fight. 15 seconds now for, well, never mind. 15 seconds for the Weaver. High Shaggy, though, jumps the gun a little early, taking down. Jubei falls as well. B-God now trapped inside the Sprout. Only a matter of time before they finish him off as Tomler grabs the double, and that may just be the end of it, ET. Scourge is back up, but what can they really do here down a couple of heroes?
Yeah, and, well, let's see. It's going to be a push on. It's still very difficult to go into the Zeus with that magic damage and put Scourge. He got hexed. They have to kind of peel back, but at the end of the day, they are Megas. They use the BKB on Stonebank, so I can almost see DogChamp deciding to take maybe a slower method to get onto this high ground, but as soon as we have that BKB on the BH back up again, they've got everything they want. They have their opponents without any buybacks stuck on their high ground for the foreseeable future. Yeah, Lukey has his own Abyssal Blade, so you get in melee distance of that Night Stalker. We could see the game end real quick.
He's got the Abyssal. I think Tomler grabbed a Daedalus even just to try and finish off this push, and here they come. Scourge tries to push in, but he immediately gets hexed up. There's the Shackles as well. Scourge is dead with no ult, and, well, yeah, there it is. The GG will be called. The cut have had enough, and DogChamp, well, it took them a little bit of time to build up that momentum, ET, but once they had it, they did not let it go.
Yeah, no, it was real easy. It was real clean. It was real fun, honestly, to see the IO work out, because that was something I didn't really expect from them. And especially It's the stand-in. The stand-in did it. They picked Io. It was a farce for so long. You didn't know where it was going. You thought it was B9. You thought it was not going to be in that mid position, but then he comes through. He pretty much almost solo kills Shaggy two times in lane. Like, too many things happened beyond expectation, and DogChamp, a team that nobody is really looking at right now, takes a game off the cut. Feels good, man. It's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. Looking pretty impressive, and there you can see the stats being pulled up on the bottom of your screen. I mean, immediately, my eyes drawn to the 19-4 there for Stonebank on that bounty. You were mentioning it earlier, ET, how unbelievably frustrated a lot of these pro players were with sort of carry bounty players. In this instance, not necessarily because they're stealing their role, but because Stonebank was just outplaying everybody with it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's so frustrating to play versus a bounty hunter because it's 1 or 2 picks, trades that you feel like you're okay with, where we killed the Night Stalker. We should be happy with what's going on here, but we give 3 track kills, we give 4 track kills, we give that AoE gold, we give Stonebank so much farm, so much time, and we don't have that on our side. We have to get our farm the slow way, the not fun way, the way where we have to win a team fight, we have to get a whole bunch of CS, and it was just getting pumped into the Weaver. Everybody else in the lineup started falling behind, and then unfortunately the 5-man comes through, and it just looks real easy for DogChamp. That was a real clean game.
So clean for them, and unfortunately, I do hate to bring it up once again for the cut fans out there, but the trend holds true. 25 minutes in, it was a net worth lead for DogChamp, and there weren't any changes in who had that lead. So once again, if the cut fall behind, they very rarely sort of make it back into the game, at least in a match. In terms of in a series, though, ET, well, maybe that's a little bit of a different conversation. They are on the back foot now, having dropped that first game, but what predictions do you think that they make heading into game 2, and do you think that they'll be enough for them to fight their way back into it?
I think they're going to ban the IO.